Evans, of Native American ancestry Cherokee Creek, was born in Pawnee, Oklahoma and graduated from Muskogee Central High School. After 1 year of enlisted service in the Navy, he was appointed to the United States Naval Academy, entering as a midshipman on June 29, 1927. He graduated from the Academy in 1931. On August 9, 1941, Evans was assigned to the destroyer Alden, and was serving on her in the East Indies when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor on December 7 of that year. He became commanding officer of Alden on March 14, 1942, and held that position until July 7, 1943. While serving on Alden, he participated in operations in and around Australia, New Guinea and the Dutch East Indies. In mid-1943, Evans was ordered to duty in charge of fitting out the Fletcher-class destroyer Johnston at the Seattle-Tacoma Shipbuilding Corporation in Seattle, Washington. Commander Evans assumed command of Johnston at her commissioning on October 27, 1943, declaring to the assembled crew, "This is going to be a fighting ship. I intend to go in harm's way, and anyone who doesn't want to go along had better get off right now." 5 He was awarded the Bronze Star for meritorious achievement in sinking the Japanese submarine I-176 on May 16, 1944 in the Battle off Samar, a part of the Battle of Leyte Gulf. Evans led Johnston until it was sunk on October 25, 1944, by a Japanese force that was vastly superior in number, firepower, and armor. Johnston, together with the destroyers Samuel B. Roberts, Hull, and Heermann, for destroyer escorts and 6 escort carrier CVEs formed the task unit April 3, 77, known as Taffy 3. This group, together with planes from Taffy 2 TU April 2, 77, ultimately forced a Japanese battle group consisting of 4 battleships, 6 heavy cruisers, 2 light cruisers and 11 destroyers to abort its original mission to attack the landing beaches at Leyte under the command of General Douglas MacArthur, and retreat. The famous battle has become known as the Last Stand of the Tin Can Sailors, after the 2004 book of the same title. When the Japanese fleet was first sighted, Evans did not hesitate. After laying a smoke screen to help hide the escort carriers from enemy gunfire, he ordered his helm hard to port and he led his destroyer out of the task unit's circular anti-aircraft disposition in favor of charging the enemy alone to make a torpedo attack. Some claim that Evans told his crew over the ship's intercom a large Japanese fleet has been contacted. They are 15 miles away and headed in our direction. They are believed to have 4 battleships, 8 cruisers, and a number of destroyers. This will be a fight against overwhelming odds from which survival cannot be expected. We will do what damage we can. However, contemporaneous sources credit the latter part of this dramatic announcement to Lieutenant Commander Robert W. Copeland of destroyer escort Samuel B. Roberts, who charged in with Evans on a subsequent torpedo attack. The Johnston successfully attacked the Japanese heavy cruiser Kumano, hitting the heavy cruiser with at least 45 5-inch 127mm shells, before Evans ordered the torpedo battery to be launched. At least one, but more likely 2 or 3 hit Kumano's bow, blowing it clean off, forcing Kumano out of the battle alongside the heavy cruiser Suzuya to escort the crippled warship. However, celebration was cut short as Evans and his staff were severely injured when Johnston was suddenly blasted almost simultaneously by 3 18.1-inch 46cm shells and 3 6.1-inch 155mm shells from the battleship Yamato at a distance of 20,300 yards. In particular, a 6.1-inch 155mm shell from Yamato's secondary battery hit the bridge, which blew off 2 of Evans' fingers and his entire shirt. Despite severe injuries, Evans refused painkillers, instead directing all medical attention to Johnston's crew. Evans ordered the crippled but not sunk Johnston to continue on, briefly engaging the heavy cruiser Haguro and the battleship Haruna. Noticing the escort carrier Gambier Bay under fire, Johnston briefly fired on the heavy cruiser Chikuma, but was engaged by a destroyer line led by the light cruiser Yahagi. Shell fire left Johnston dead in the water and without a functioning gun. Johnston sank at 1011, and the destroyer Yukike's under Lieutenant Commander Masamichi Tarachi closed to point-blank range, not for an attack, but to salute both Johnston and the crew for their bravery. The fate of Johnston's captain was never conclusively established, and remains the subject of continuing conjecture among the ship's survivors. Some say that he was hit by Japanese naval shellfire, others that he was able to jump into a damaged motor whaleboat. What is known is that he was seriously wounded during the battle, that he lived long enough to give the order to abandon ship, and that he was not among those rescued. Evans was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor for his material contribution.